Hey there, I'm Nat.
And I'm Lo.
And we make a YouTube show about everything you never knew you wanted to know about Google or something like that.
And this is part 2 of a 2-part episode about how YouTube works.
In part 1, we go into what happens when you upload a video. If you'd like to watch that, you can check out the link in the video description.
And in part 2, we learned what actually happens when you watch a video.
We didn't know the answers when we set out to make this video, so we talked with a couple of YouTube engineers, Richard and Steve and Bernard. If you're like us when we started working on this, you might think that when you press play on a video, YouTube is just grabbing that video and playing it for you. And that's how YouTube used to work.
What used to happen 10 years ago when you watched a YouTube video, there was one file, and we would just download it. And sometimes you'd watch that spinner, and it was very interruptive.
So YouTube decided to do something about this, which they codenamed sliced bread.
Sliced bread, as a sort of metaphor, means break the video up into pieces, and so you can lay down the track for the train as it's rolling. And every time you get a piece, you decide what's the size of the next one you're going to use. And we call this adaptive bitrate.
Adaptive bitrate just means that the size of your video slices can change on the fly, which is helpful because your internet bandwidth is frequently changing.
This one. How this works is when you press play on a video, YouTube is immediately analyzing your situation.
Is your network good? How big is your screen? How much have you downloaded already?
It might decide, hey, things are pretty good, so here's a high-resolution video slice to start things off. And here's another one and another one. But then, let's say your brother comes home and starts downloading this huge file, so your bandwidth is constrained and YouTube needs to downres your video slices to make sure that the video you're watching doesn't have a lot of buffering.
For the most part, YouTube playbacks are smooth, but when they aren't, it's really, really irritating. And we hate that as much as anybody. And every day we're trying to make the time that the spinner shows just a little bit smaller.
Another thing that can speed up how fast videos play is where physically those video files are coming from.
It's easy to think of YouTube as a single thing, where all the videos sit in a giant pile. But in practice, when you watch a video, it gets a little bit closer to you.
More formally, this is